Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A person is dead after a hit-and-run crash in Fayetteville. Coming up, how that driver led deputies on a chase that ended in another crash.
Another person is hurt after an early morning shooting in Raleigh. What we have learned from authorities there and the WRAL breaking news tracker, as well as police, and they work to make an arrest there.
And a second day in a row of a heat advisory. I'll show you what it will feel like hour by hour through the afternoon.
The sirens at the Harris nuclear plant will go off again today, this time as planned. The test that's happening this morning after the false alarm that startled many people earlier this week. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. What's draining everyone is this extreme heat, and we're hoping for a little relief later this week. But first, we have to get through another hot day. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, we can see it in the distance just a little bit, but we're being tested daily. So far, Elizabeth, I think we've passed Elizabeth, but tempers are running thin, I think.
Ooh, they are, yes. Second day in a row with a heat advisory. It'll feel like 105 to 110. I will walk you through it hour by hour. Already at lunchtime, it's going to feel like 100 degrees. It'll feel like 104 to 105 through most of the afternoon and even into the early evening. The heat advisory expires at 8 p.m. and that's when we'll drop back down to 99. So the danger zone for much of the afternoon. So just take it easy again. We take a live look at Apex, and there's a lot of cloud cover out across our area this morning. So much moisture in the atmosphere. You step outside and it just feels like you could swim through the air. 81 in the Triangle with a dew point of 75. So very uncomfortable to start with. And of course, we're going to feel that heat all through the afternoon. Future gas shows partly cloudy skies by the afternoon. So where we do have some clouds now, those will be dissipating over the next few hours. Showers and thunderstorms for today are likely to be pretty late. We may not see those until fairly late in the afternoon and then maybe continuing through dinner time. Only a 30 to 40% chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms for today. It's a much better chance on Friday. We should see a good soaking rain. I'll show you how much we could see it, how much it'll drop our temperatures. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:02, all new into the WRAL traffic center. We're getting reports of Raleigh police and first responders closing one lane of traffic on I-40 eastbound as a result of this crash. We're not picking up any major delays on our sensors, but just watch for some police activity in that area. And if you have an opportunity, move over one lane, of course. This is something that's been a trouble spot this morning. I-40, I-540, those westbound lanes between Litchford and Honeycutt Road. We also got this report of a crash near Litchford Road. The immediate area, we're not seeing any major delays in that area, but watch for this delay there on I-40 westbound. If that's part of your morning commute, definitely give yourself some extra time this morning.
Ken, thank you. Breaking news this morning in Raleigh. A woman is seriously hurt after a shooting in a neighborhood off Sunnybrook Road. Nick Perlin is live in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker near the shooting scene on Blue Ribbon Lane. And Nick, police just cleared that scene within the last half hour.
Renee, that's right, but investigators were here for about 4.5 hours, and they taped off this area of Wood Meadow Road behind me, and this crime scene extended all the way down to Blue Ribbon Lane. Now, I want to show you this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, just so you can see how far back Raleigh police had us. That shooting happening about a quarter mile from where I was standing and where I'm currently standing. We do know one woman was seriously hurt in this shooting. We did hear that she is expected to recover, but we still have questions for Raleigh police. We're trying to figure out what led to this shooting, and if they know who fired those shots early this morning, we'll stay on top of this one and keep pushing for answers. Live in Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And we have more breaking news we are following this morning. A hit and run leads police in a chase with deputies in Fayetteville. That crash happened late last night on Murchison Road. The chase then ended on Ramsey Street. And WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at that crash scene this morning. Kelsey, this was a chaotic situation.
Jeff, there's just a lot of moving parts to this story, and deputies have now cleared this scene, but this area looked much different a few hours ago. Let's take you to video now from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker after that crash. Here's a breakdown of what happened just after 10 last night. A driver was speeding near a deputy on Murchison Road. The deputy tried to catch up with the driver, but they kept speeding and hit a person. The deputy stayed there to help, but the person later died. Another deputy came in to find the driver. Then the driver led the second deputy on a a chase. The chase ended in a crash at Langdon and Ramsey Street. Deputies were finally able to track down the driver after that crash. That driver was arrested, and we're working to find out what charges they may be facing this morning. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
A man is facing an animal cruelty charge after Cary police say he left a dog in a hot car. Police say Paul Fisher III of Elm City intentionally left the dog in the car. We're working to learn more about how that dog is doing. Fisher is due in a Wake County courtroom later today.
Covering Wake County, don't be alarmed when you hear the sirens near the Harris nuclear plant in Wake County today. It's just a test that comes after sirens were unintentionally sounded Monday morning. That led to this alert being sent out to phones all across the county. WRAL's Laura Levine is outside the plant in New Hill right now. This is a regularly scheduled test after that scary false alarm, Laura.
And Jeff, right now we're standing right outside of the Jordan Point neighborhood. It's about 3 miles from that plant. But when this alert popped up on many people's phones on Monday, it really caused some panic and fear for a lot of people. When these sirens went off, neighbors told us that they felt that they were led a bit astray by Wake County officials at that time. Duke Energy and Wake County officials want to remind the community they will test sirens as scheduled today around the Harris nuclear plant. Now, today's testing will be a 5 to 30-second test between 10 and 11 this morning. Some sirens may get tested more than once. Officials say on Monday, while Duke Energy was conducting the routine silent testing of sirens, they were trying to ensure their proper functioning. Well, a small number of sirens in the 10-mile emergency planning zone inadvertently went off. Wake County Emergency Management explains the sirens are an initial alert for residents and not necessarily cause for immediate evacuation.
Is when the sirens go off, it is simply asking you to pay attention. We can't provide direction over that siren. It doesn't talk to you. It doesn't allow us to type out a message over the siren, but it simply allows us a way that, whether you're indoors or outdoors in that whole 10-mile area spanning 4 different counties, we can say, please pay attention to an authoritative media source.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions this morning, such as what caused the sirens to go off on Monday. Duke Energy is investigating. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in New Hill.
Today, the Cumberland County School Board will vote on a new school resource officer agreement with the town of Hope Mills. The Hope Mills Police Department will need to provide officers as SROs. The change comes after the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office announced it would no longer provide deputies to schools in Hope Mills. The meeting starts at 1 this afternoon.
Some people living in North Raleigh say they're becoming increasingly concerned about safety, especially at night. And they're sharing those concerns with Raleigh police and trying to find solutions. Police hosted a community meeting last night at the Millbrook Community Center. Officers noted the road rage incidents and car thefts are up in North Raleigh. Officers also shared an update about the Connect Raleigh program that allows police to tap into footage from private security cameras if people allow them. So far, police have access to about 900 cameras.
Today, the NAACP Raleigh Apex branch will hold a news conference to call for an investigation into the prosecution of Henderson Atwater. The Holly Springs man was charged with a series of pellet gun shootings in 2020. Deputies say he targeted moving cars. None of the shootings was fatal. In August 2023, the case was declared a mistrial after Atwater already spent 2 years in jail. He was then arraigned again on the same charges in January, with a trial scheduled for July 22nd. The NAACP's news conference will happen at 10 this morning at the Legislative Building.
Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center. Today, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is set to speak before the U.S. House. He talked to the U.S. Senate yesterday, essentially presenting what's called the semi-annual monetary policy report. This is basically a current snapshot of the economy, along with an outlook of it, but also the Fed's monetary policy regarding federal funds. He told the Senate yesterday inflation has come a long way for the last couple of years, but still not at the level where the Fed is comfortable cutting interest rates. I'll leave you with one thing here. Just looking at the futures this morning, let me hit refresh so I can show you what those look like. Mostly in the green, as I've seen this morning, including the NASDAQ up 51 points.
Chris, thanks. A groundbreaking is happening today for new housing for young people transitioning out of foster care. The new housing will be called Hope Village at Method. It's a joint project between the nonprofit CASA and the Hope Center at Pullen. It will consist of 9 one-bedroom units for youth aging out of foster care. The groundbreaking ceremony gets started at 9:30 this morning. New research finds a monthly essential for women may contain toxic metals, why they don't show up in existing testing for tampon safety.
And multiple people in Florida and Texas are recovering after being attacked by sharks. We'll hear from a woman who says her leg is pretty much gone.
And another day of a heat advisory. It'll feel like 105 or hotter across our area this afternoon. I'll show you why that should change just in a couple of days.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, another heat advisory in effect for us starting at 11 o'clock. The heat index will feel like 105 to 110 this afternoon. Walk through hour by hour what that's going to feel like by lunchtime, feeling like 100 and then feeling like in the triangle at least 105. And then by the time we get to, say, 8 o'clock, as the advisory ends, we'll be back down to around 99 in terms of the way it feels outside. So just take it easy one more day. We do get a little bit of a break by Friday from all this heat. 76 in Wilson, 81 in Durham, 76 in Fayetteville. Got a bit of cloud cover out there right now, but we're not going to see any rain this morning. It'll feel like you can swim through the air when you head out to walk the dog this morning. And walking the dog right after work is going to feel pretty miserable as well. We do have a small chance for thunderstorms later on today. I'll walk you through the Futurecast timeline. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, we're following some breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got reports of one lane being blocked right there on I-40 eastbound near Aviation Parkway. I want to give you a live look right now because on our sensors, we're not picking up any major delays. But you can see the delays right there, the flashing lights that's happening right there in the eastbound lanes of I-40. Again, one lane is closed right around that area. We'll keep an eye on that, but you can see traffic is still flowing nicely. Elsewhere around the triangle, there's a major slowdown in I-540 westbound lanes. Coming in about 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly what's going on there.
Okay, here's a story I know has not gotten past you. Raleigh's restaurant landscape is changing. Some of the city's dining staples are either closing or moving. Now, some of them include Gonza Tacos and Tequila, Union Special Bread, Oak City Meatball Kitchen, Clouds Brewing. They've all announced plans to close down in Raleigh. BB's Crispy Chicken closed its Raleigh location last month, and Plate's Neighborhood Kitchen plans to close for good at the end of this month. NC State economist Steve Allen tells WRAL the increase in post-pandemic remote and hybrid work is really taking a bite out of restaurant revenue.
If workers are only coming in 2-3 days a week, that's a big problem for restaurants.
Now, there are some new restaurants opening in Raleigh that include Alpaca Peruvian Chicken on Hillsborough Street, Giorgio's Epicurean Market in East End, and Otimi Comida in historic Oakwood.
A monthly essential for many women could contain some concerning chemicals. 14 popular brands of tampons were found to have lead, arsenic, and other toxic metals inside them. Tampons are regulated for safety across the U.S., but existing rules do not yet require chemical testing. We spoke with one of the researchers behind the study, Dr. Kristen Upson.
What we don't know, and where we need further research, is to understand how our menstruators, if they are exposed to metals in tampons, whether tampons are a source of metal exposure.
The samples included both organic and non-organic products. All were found to have measurable concentrations of at least 16 different metals.
2 shark attacks in 2 states. A Florida teen and a Texas woman are now both recovering after they were bitten by sharks. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here with both stories and how they are doing this morning, Michelle.
Yeah, Jeff, several shark attacks have been reported in Florida in the last week. A teen training to become a lifeguard there is now recovering. 14-year-old Dempsey Manhart was bitten during the training camp on Monday. He says that he thought that he hit another person in the water when diving in, but it wasn't a person, it was a shark. But he's not letting that scary incident stop him. 17 stitches later, he is asking when he can get back in the water. Also in Texas, Tabitha Sullivan was attacked by a shark at South Padre Island over the 4th of July holiday. She says she was in the water with her teenage daughter and some friends when she saw something gray in the water. She kicked at it, and that's when the shark grabbed her leg. Her husband was also bitten while trying to help her.
He fought the shark. So He's got 2 bites on him. He's actually in the room with me. He's next to me. But yeah, it was crazy. Kind of surreal still.
Yeah, she says her leg is pretty much gone. The bite is all the way down to the bone. She says she will need multiple surgeries, and doctors are hopeful that they can save her leg. Officials in Texas say those shark attacks they're not common. When bites do occur, they're usually a case of mistaken identity by sharks looking for food.
One ordeal for Tabitha. Michelle, thanks. Today is the final day a popular TV show will be filming on UNC Chapel Hill's campus. The shoot is for the 3rd season of the show, The Summer I Turned Pretty. If you're driving around campus today, make sure to keep an eye out for any road closures. The new season is set to premiere next summer. I'm a fan of that series, The Summer I Turned Pretty. This summer, we're all turning into a hot mess. The extreme heat is draining us all. Elizabeth, what we wouldn't give just for the temperatures out there to feel like the low 90s. We'll take that.
So what would you give, Renee? I'm just saying, because, I think we can do that, for the right price. Let's take a look at Goldsboro this morning. No cloud cover there, but we are seeing some clouds in a few spots. Apex a bit cloudy, as well as Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant in there in Fayetteville, where our newsroom is. We take a look at the big picture, and this is the remnants of WRAL, and that has stayed well to our west. So it's been no help for us in terms of helping to cool us off. As a matter of fact, ahead of this front, we have a very strong flow coming out of the south. So temperatures are already in the 80s in some places as you're stepping outside this morning. But this front's going to swing on in and stall over us and help to bring us a chance of some thunderstorms for tomorrow. And then a wave or a low will ride up it on Friday, and that will drop our highs back into the 80s. Woohoo! It's only going to be one day, but we'll take it. So the remnants of WRAL continue to move on up into the northeast, up into the Great Lakes area. Out ahead of that front, we're going to see an isolated shower or thunderstorm this evening. This is late this afternoon or this evening. And then we're going to see that front sliding through. We're fairly quiet behind it. All the rest of that moisture moves up to the north. And then that front stalls here to the east of the front. For tomorrow is where we'll have the best chance of seeing any rain. And then it stalls and a low pressure system rides up it and will increase our chances for rain on Friday. So rain on Friday should be widespread. Thursday, it'll all be east of I-95. And for today, just a few limited showers and thunderstorms. As a matter of fact, on average, it's going to be about 1/10 of an inch or less. But 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in our eastern counties on Thursday, and then widespread 1 to 2 on Friday. So that will be nice. The flip side of that is it will have the potential for some localized flooding on Friday. It's a level 2 risk for flooding, not for severe storms, but for flooding there from the Triangle area eastward. So we do have the drought situation still, and hopefully some of that rain will help that. But of course, the cons of that would be that potential for some flooding. So here's a look at what we're expecting on Friday. We're going to see a front and a low moving through. It's going to bring us a lot of tropical moisture, some heavy rainfall, widespread rain, and the potential for some localized flooding. Speaking of the hurricane season, everything is quiet in the tropics right now, but Colorado State University just updated its forecast for the season to 25 named storms, and the average is 14, 6 major hurricanes, and the average is 3. So it could still be quite an active season. Right now, we're seeing some dust from the Saharan Desert moving across the tropics. That is very dry air, not conducive to storms developing. And so that's why things are quiet for us. Of course, we have one more day of a heat advisory before we start to see temperatures dropping off a little bit. 96 today, 93 Thursday, and then Friday with some widespread rain. We're looking at mid-80s, but we get into next week and we jump right back up into that dangerous heat again, Ken.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Right now, we're following some breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center. On one lane of I-40 eastbound closed right now as a result of a crash. We're not seeing any major slowdown in the area. We want to give you a live look at I-40 and Airport Boulevard. You can see the flashing lights right there and that one lane closed. But again, it's not causing any delays in that area. So if that's part of your morning commute, you should be just fine. Elsewhere around the triangle, we're seeing the I-540 has been a real troubled spot this morning. This crash right there on I-540 near Litchford Road has really not caused any major issues. But this incident there on I-40 and Falls of Neuse Road and I-540, that's been a real problem. You can see it's beginning to clear up right now, all in the clearing phases, but that's been going on for at least an hour now. But you can see all lanes of I-540 westbound completely free and clear this morning. Elsewhere around the triangle, we're seeing all the major routes in Durham, Chapel Hill, delay-free at this hour.
More Democratic lawmakers are going public with their concerns about President Biden's re-election campaign. What they are saying after a closed-door meeting and the move Republicans may take at the Capitol today.
And we're getting our first look at a sequel almost 25 years in the making. Seeds from the long-awaited Gladiator 2. Coming up in What's Trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
We're getting our first look at another long-awaited sequel.
And Ken Smith is here now with What's Trending, Ken.
Yeah, huge fan of the original, right? The first trailer for Gladiator 2 is now out. Take a look.
The greatest temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
Yeah, the movie is coming out 24 years after the first one. I can't believe it's been 24 years. The A-list cast includes Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington. Gladiator 2 will be in theaters in November.
I cannot wait. It looks amazing. And Ken, you had me at Denzel, so I'm in, all in.
Right? They're going to fight on the Coliseum floor again.
Woo! All right.
Can't wait to see it. Well, check out these new pictures of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's son, RZA. The promotional photos show off the new boxers, briefs, and tees in Rihanna's clothing line.
Yeah, it's her second kid, right? And Rihanna said, you know what? She would maybe think about a third, try to get her girl.
Ooh.
But first word from RZA just happened. Hey.
Hey.
That was his first word.
Love it.
Hey. And many more words to come.
Thanks, Ken. Duke Energy will test the sirens at the Harris nuclear plant today after a false alarm earlier this week. How crews are assessing that situation after the alert that sent a scare through Wake County.
And another heat advisory for today, hour by hour. It could feel like as hot as 105 this afternoon.
A person is dead after a hit-and-run crash in Fayetteville. Coming up, how that driver led deputies on a chase in Fayetteville that led to another crash.
And a heat advisory again today. It'll feel like 105 to 110 across our area. I'll show you when there's some relief in our forecast.